10:07, 7 past 10, hour number 2 of the Bruce and Dan Show. Normally it's me, Jake Hartford, with John Kass of the Tribune, but John is on assignment this morning, and sitting in for John is Stephanie Trussell.
Good morning. So happy to be here. Just hoping not to drink out of the finger bowl and get an opportunity to talk to some great callers and to get a chance to talk about some issues that everybody's talking about this morning.
And that's what we do. That's what we do. One interesting story I saw on ABC 7, Paul Meinke did it. Are you a commuter? Do you drive a lot in Chicago?
Unfortunately, no. I spend most of my time driving my kids around to events and going to meetings in my zip code, but it's great. I take the train in generally, though.
The Illinois Tollway, the Jane Addams branch that goes up to Rockford from O'Hare, they're going to build an extra lane in each direction, and there had been talk of using that as like a high-speed, commuter lane, either for buses or stuff like that. And now there's talk, according to Paul Meinke, of having that as an express lane for people when it's congested would pay more money. You'd pay over and above whatever toll you're paying. And it would all be done by computer, and they would charge anywhere from 5 cents to 30 cents a mile. And I would imagine that's negotiable. So if you're in a hurry to get home, the question becomes, and it's a very simple question, would you pay more money to get home quicker or to get where you're going quicker?
Well, for the longest, I've always thought there should be an express from like Manheim all the way downtown or from 88 or something. But the idea that we're all excited about paying more money to ride on roads, since the tolls have gone up, I go out of my way not to get on the toll road anymore. It's very convenient and I love it. So if it adds an extra 5 or 10 minutes or so to my commute, just not to give Quinn my money since he doubled our taxes went up, fees went up. So how are we getting excited about an opportunity to get somewhere faster but at an expense? I get upset that we're not focusing on how to get rid of the tolls altogether. The only reason I believe we still have them is that we are justifying the people that unfortunately that work there. It's like, well, we can't get rid of those jobs, and I'm sure we can find other jobs for them, but how are we paying to ride on roads?
You pay to ride on good roads. Well, when you pay your money, they take care of the roads. Some of the other roads that that Illinois has that don't come under the tollway, they're in terrible shape, and the state doesn't seem to have money to fix those roads.
Well, you go to other states and there are no tolls and their roads seem to be fine. I know they're going to say that, reading the article a little bit, that we're behind the times. Other people have done this. It's not a reason to do something just because everyone else is doing it. And we have enough fees and tolls, things tacked on to what we normally do. It's a great idea. So let's just build it and make it free.
In California, they call it the Diamond Lane, for if you have more than 2 people in a car.
Oh, kind of the carpool
lane.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like that. So if like you're going up to San Francisco,
okay,
and the morning rush, it's really bad. Well, if you've got 2 or more people, you get in the Diamond Lane and you just fly, and it saves you a lot of time.
Well, just let everybody do that. Why do?
Well, then it would be congested. Who wants that?
Well, some of them will be local lanes, others would be express, but why do we have to pay for the privilege to ride around on the road? And we've all just accepted that.
But you're getting an extra benefit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that seems like a lot of money for people that their commute is already costing them, $10, including the gas, the tolls, and now we're going to add something else onto them.
But it's an extra benefit. I don't mind paying for something if it's an extra benefit.
Well, I guess we'll let the commuters decide. Since I don't commute, maybe I'm not qualified to actually have a comment on that. I would do it if I came in once in a while. Maybe I wouldn't mind doing it, but on a daily basis, I'm pretty sure that it's not cost effective to people that are commuting.
Sam downtown. Good morning, Sam.
Jake, sign me up. I'll give Jesse White an extra $500 a year. He gives me a red plate. He tests me. I get a test every year,
okay,
and I can't be too unsafe. And I get to drive in the outer lane at 75 miles an hour. Nobody else can be in there unless you got a red plate and you've been tested and you're certified as a safe, high-speed driver. And I'll pay even more. I'll pay $750 a year extra.
And you know what? We can
Stay out of that lane.
And we can give that
time saving. Go ahead.
And we can give that extra money to the children. So we'd be doing it for the children, Sam.
You could give it wherever you want. This is a fantastic idea. Time is priceless. And if I can get all these people out of my lane and I can move faster and it only costs me $750 extra a year, that's a great deal. And he can certify me, test me. I'll have it, super insurance, whatever he wants. I want to be able to move quickly all day long, and that's a great deal.
Thank you, Sam. You're a great American.
I'm just curious where they would hold these tests for the speed drivers.
Oh, we work those details
through the
out.
neighborhoods, like the regular test, and then suddenly you're allowed to go 75 miles an hour or whatever on short turns.
They're doing it anyway, except for the clown who goes 50 miles an hour in the far left lane. He's not supposed to be there.
I don't commute enough, so maybe it's interesting to hear someone else being so excited about this. So,
Joey in Chicago. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning. 75 miles an hour would make the Greyhound bus-type drivers mad. I tried to keep up with these guys. You can't do it. They must have some kind of a payment plan at the beginning of the year to the state. They're never pulled over.
Well, that and also the big mail trucks that deliver the express mail, those huge semis. They really go fast.
Good talking to you.
Thanks, Joey. Let's go out to Wilmette. Jasmine, good morning. You're on 89 WLS, Jasmine.
Good morning, Stephanie. It's so good to hear you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, listen, Jake, is it me or are you playing the devil's advocate?
What?
Because honestly, I feel like we're being nickel and dimed already in everything from, whether it be the tolls to gambling to buying a gun to ammunition. I mean, it's enough. We're taxed enough
But
already.
Jasmine,
this is another fee.
But
this
Jasmine,
is yet another way of taking money out of our pocket. You're not going to slow down. You're not going to slow down the traffic. You're not going to.
Jasmine. You like the guy that owns Jimmy John's who's moving out of state, the corporate office. Not because he doesn't like paying taxes. He doesn't like the way the taxes are spent.
Exactly.
I don't mind. I don't mind paying for a service, Jasmine.
I don't want to get just like Stephanie. I don't want to give them more money to mismanage and blow out the window. No, let's keep the money with us, and we'll figure out. Like Stephanie says, we figure out other ways of avoiding paying those tolls because that's just another tax, in my opinion, another fee.
Thank you, Jasmine. You're not a great American. I don't mind paying extra for something if you get something in return. So many times you pay, you don't get in return. But right now, here's what you guys get. You get traffic right on the 5s on 89 WS 1015. We are back. Stephanie and Jake. She is in for John Kass. And John will be back tomorrow. You having fun so far?
I'm having a blast once again. And just thinking about this whole toll thing, sometimes I think the elected officials see us as just dollar signs. They just see, tax-paying, hardworking Americans. How can I get another nickel out of them? What can I do?
We are dollar signs.
Well, that's, they come up with their own budget and they figure out how they're going to get us to pay for it. And so, just make the roads free, make it faster. And if it's not faster, will you get a refund? What if the people on the lower, the ones that aren't on the express, make it downtown before you? So are they going to give you money back as a result of that? How can they guarantee that you're going to get to work or wherever you're going before everyone else that didn't pay the fee?
Well, so if the express lane's congested, don't go in the congested express lane. That's easy, simple.
Okay,
make
done.
a decision. It's all computer now. Bob and Monique. Good morning, Bob. You're on 89 WLS.
Good morning. That's another ridiculous way of them getting tax dollars out of you. The bottom line on the whole thing is that originally 20 years back, we bought a driver's license, a vehicle sticker, and the different other taxes on motor vehicles. You pay extra tax if you buy a car, even if it's used, to the state.
Hey, Bob.
We should have.
Hey, Bob. Bob. What do you do with your buggy whip? Do you still use it?
No. I don't have a buggy
Well,
whip.
but we all used to have buggy whips.
The first road that was built across this country was US 30. It was done by business people's dollars so that they could make a freeway for people to come in from the country to buy goods in the stores. And they paid for that with private investment and people assisting to build the original first road in this country, which was Route 30. So that makes Obama's statement about we build the roads wrong. It was built by business people, farmers, and everything else out of their pocket.
Bob, were you at the ribbon cutting for that?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Now, if you want to be rude, be rude.
I'm asking. I never heard that story before.
I'm just saying that those roads that they promised us were going to pay themselves off in 20 years, and then it would be a freeway, was a lie from basically the people in power, and they happen to be Democrats. But that's here nor there.
Not necessarily, Bob. Go back and check the history books of Illinois. Go back and check it. There was I think it was bipartisan support for tollways back then. Let's go to Michael in Riverside. Good morning, Michael.
Why, good morning, team. How are you?
I'm thinking. I don't know what Stephanie's doing here.
I'm
She's
listening.
thinking, too.
I'm learning.
You said politicians, all they see in us taxpayers is dollar signs.
Yes.
Well, when they look at me, all they see is nickel signs because I don't have any dollars left. I've got just change in my pocket. That's how much I've been drained.
It's a lot of nerve with Illinois being in the situation that we're currently in, unfunded pensions, and we're in so much debt. How could anybody even propose, let's build something that's going to cost people additional money? It just makes no sense at all.
Well, because of what you've just said, there is only one circumstance by which I would pay to drive in one of those lanes, an express lane. And that is if they put it on 294 so I can get to Indiana with my family and all our belongings to get out of this state. That's exactly what I'm thinking right now, and that's no lie.
Oh, you're a pessimist, Michael.
No, I am an optimist, Jake.
We are in the middle of a roaring recovery, okay? I just saw the headline 2 minutes ago. Roaring, yes.
It is pretty hard to suffer here in Illinois, and we're bordered by some states that are in a true recovery, led by some real politicians that are actually looking to get the taxpayers out of debt. And you're in Wisconsin. I keep thinking it's not a bad place to live. I don't think I'd look good in the green and the yellow. And, Bears fans can't move up there. But when you think about all, what can we do? I'm fired up about staying in Illinois and not leaving. We should get rid of the people that are making it not a great place to live. So it is kind of appealing to go to Indiana, but I want to stay right here, and we're just going to make better decisions that, when it comes time to voting for officials. And that's what we need to do. Take back Illinois.
Well, if all these people are staying here, then we need more express lanes so we can get around easier. 1021, back right after this on 89 WLS.
88. Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. 89 WLS.
We're Chicago's talk leader because of you. So help us make the WLS News Department the best in Chicago. If you witness news, call the 89 WLS News Tip Hotline at 312-236-0507.
No yelling on the bus!
1029, Jake Hartford with Stephanie Trussell. Stephanie, I was thinking there during the traffic, I don't think Bob was around at the ribbon cutting for Route 30.
Well, maybe not.
For some reason, I miscalculated in my mind how long cars have been around. The interstate system was put in by Dwight Eisenhower, President Eisenhower back in the 50s.
No, I didn't know that.
He was the one for that. And what most people don't know, there's a lot of straight areas. Every so often, it's a big straight area. It's because they wanted the ability to land airplanes in case of emergency.
And how much did they charge to drive on the roads back then?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
But then they ran out of money to fix them. Oh. And when we come back, Jesse Jackson Jr. is in the story, in the news again. There's been some Jesse Jr. sightings, and there's some stories about Greek chariots and Turkish baths. But right now, it's Dave Stewart at 10:30 with News Weather Traffic on 89 WLS.
President Obama and Governor Romney square off in a town hall debate live from Debate Central tonight at 8 on your Common Sense election headquarters, 89 WLS.
1037, want to remind you when you see news happening, call the 89 WLS News Tip Hotline. Help make 89 WLS the most plugged-in news department in Chicago. Call 312-236-0507. I'm Jake Hartford with Stephanie Trussell.
Good morning again.
Get your mic on there for you. Stephanie's in for John Kass. John will be back tomorrow morning. He's off on assignment. We'll have all kind of debate follow on and all that other good stuff. Are you a big Jesse Jr. Fan?
This is like a Christmas gift to be able to talk about Jesse Jackson Jr. No, I'm not a fan, and I will not be kind to say anyone who decides to vote for him, I really have to question your motives, your intelligence, your morality, and everything else. He is essentially what's wrong with Chicago politics and does not deserve your vote in November.
Don't hold back. He's had his troubles. He's had health issues.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Spent a lot of time this summer in the Mayo Clinic.
Mm-hmm.
He has legal issues.
And that's why he was in the clinic.
The story yesterday said his lawyers asked the feds not to indict him before the election, and that supposedly the feds refused. I find that hard to believe.
That's just so mean of them not to, allow him to be elected first before they cart him off to jail. People in this district, a couple years ago, there's a guy that was running against him, Isaac Hayes. I thought that was a cool name. Seems like a really nice guy, all the issues.
Loved his movies.
Exactly. And I was naively enough, went to my Facebook page and my relatives and friends that live in this district, and I said, oh, look at this Isaac Hayes guy. He's great. And, I sent them a message. I was so naive to think that people were actually voting on the issues and looking for a person of good character and integrity. And I didn't expect everyone to fall in love with this guy just because I suggested they look into him, but I didn't even get a response. And of course, he got reelected. And now 2 years later, look what we have, someone hiding. When I found out he was making $700 a day, I just kept thinking about that over and over again in my head. That's a lot of money just to not show up, just every day. Just imagine Monday through Friday, you just get to make another $700, another $700. And since June, he hasn't even had to come to work for the $700 a day.
With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey.
Well,
there are reports this morning that he had been seen in a bar with some people.
As we would say, in the club. Yeah, he was hanging out,
Well, whether, that's true or not, I don't know. But the Washington Post did a story. And the Washington Post, they like to go on. And what happens is you start reading the stories and you kind of give up after a few paragraphs.
Yeah, exactly.
However, this story in the Washington Post, if you persist and get all the way to the 23rd paragraph, it's very, very interesting.
Hang in there.
Here's what the story says. The Prince, which is Jesse Jr., says the Prince was erecting the foundations of a power base, talking about in Chicago, diving into countless local races by endorsing candidates, seeking seeding the region with mayors and other local officials who would be loyal supporters. But it said he could be mercurial. A former associate says Jackson sometimes boasted that he was a reincarnated Greek chariot driver.
Oh, okay, that would explain a lot.
I'm stopping for comment there.
Wow.
A Greek chariot driver.
Mm-hmm.
With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey.
Now, political operative Frank Corconate, I think that's how he pronounces it, who's since had a falling out with Jesse Jr., said, quote, I really thought he had a problem with reality. He'd get in his own little world. He'd come out with outlandish things.
No matter what, we could probably show pictures of him wearing a Greek costume and doing all kinds of outrageous things, and he would still be elected come this November. Unfortunately, he's what's wrong with people not paying attention to the issues and voting for a name, I suppose. But how his constituents are not in the street just demanding representation is beyond me. And I think that's how we got Obama in the White House, people not paying attention. And this behavior, I remember what his wife said the first time she came out after he had been missing, and she came in to her job. I say that with quotation marks. And there's Mayor Emanuel next to her, and she said, she said, I love my husband. My first concern is for the well-being of my children. And those are not the words of a concerned wife, of a supportive wife. My husband, if he were battling an issue like bipolar and trying to get his medication in order, I would not throw a birthday party. I would not throw a fundraiser. I would be somewhere supporting my husband. So they're sending us so many mixed messages, and the beauty of it is that they're allowed to do that because no one's going to call them on the carpet. No one's going to question. And that's kind of what Obama's used to. He's not accustomed to anybody questioning what you do, because in Chicago, if you're a Democrat, you're going to win no matter what you do. You can take a bribe on tape and you're still going to win. So Jesse Jackson, I'm calling for the people that live in this district to beg and plead for someone to stand up and say, okay, enough is enough. Either you're well enough to represent us.
He's mercurial. You don't understand mercurial. Here,
wow.
Frank Avila Jr., another former supporter who was a Democratic operative, said, that he'd get into his own little world. He'd come out with outlandish things. They said at one of his hangouts, right, a Turkish bath, he'd prance naked, demonstrating martial arts moves, while others stayed wrapped in towels.
And he could win. He'll win by about, 70% of the vote, probably.
You've never been to a Turkish bath?
No.
You've
no,
never pranced naked?
No, I'm too busy going to like PTA meetings and booster club meetings, and again driving my kids to events. I'm not fortunate enough to make $700 a day and be allowed to take time off to do those things as well. He is something else, and
it sounds like an interesting life he has.
Yeah, actually, I would ask certain questions. If you go to his page, there's all these positive things in the past about him. Ribbon cutting ceremonies, and I would ask questions. I try to be polite. And eventually my comment and the section where I could hit like or comment disappeared, and I couldn't figure out why. And I called his office, and they said they blocked certain people that use profanity or insult the congressman, and I fell into that category. Unfortunately, my voice was
You
quiet.
should have told them you were a former Greek chariot driver, too. You had something in common. Exactly. 10:44, back after this.
89
Wednesday morning on the Don Wade and Roma Show on 89 WLS, post-debate analysis.
With Senators Rick Santorum, Ron Johnson, and Fox News' Juan Williams.
Wednesday morning, Don Wade and Roma, 89 WLS.
10:52, Jake Hartford with Stephanie Trussell in for Bruce and Dan. Stephanie, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, has done something. She's taken a page out of former Secretary of State Alexander Haig. She is now in charge, and she has fallen on the sword, and she's blaming herself for the lack of security in Libya.
Yeah, she's swallowing the grenade, taking a bullet for the administration and saying that if you're looking for someone to blame me, is, I believe, what the quote is.
She said the buck stops with her.
I love how she said if the Republicans are looking for someone to blame, they can blame me. I guess Democrats don't mind being lied to about what happened in Libya, but if we're looking for someone to blame. So.
Here's what she said.
You under the bus? Oh, of course not. Look, I take responsibility. I'm in charge of the State Department, 60,000 plus people all over the world, 275 posts. The president and the vice president certainly wouldn't be knowledgeable about specific decisions that are made by security professionals. They're the ones who weigh all of the threats and the risks and the needs and make a considered decision.
4 years ago when she was running for president, she said the buck didn't stop at the State Department, it stopped at the White House.
I guess times change, and now I wonder, is this going to keep Hillary from, running for president in 4 years? Will people forget this, or will they think it's noble of her to fall on the sword, so to speak?
I think if she wants to run in 2016, this was the thing to do, because otherwise, if she didn't want to be accused of, pushing the election the other way, in a couple of weeks. Anyway, we'll be right back. It's 10:54.
89 WLS. News from across the country and around the world is moments away with an ABC News update on 89 WLS at WLSAM.com.
10:58, Jake Hartford in with Stephanie Trussell, who was in for John Kass, who was off on assignment. I think he was meeting a mob guy today.
Or maybe I had him kidnapped just so I can have an opportunity to come and sit with you today. We'll never know.
I appreciate you coming in.
Well, after winning the contest, I thought maybe they'd have me doing ribbon cuttings for like car washes or judging dog beauty contest or something. I didn't know what it meant to be the next talk star, but this has been a great morning and again a great opportunity to work with you. So thank you.
I thank you.
But I'm kind of disappointed. I wanted a Honey Boo Boo name.
We never got the Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah, I really wanted my own Honey. I fell asleep watching her last night, so it would have been nice. I know you are the keeper of the Honey Boo Boo name.
I am, but coming up next is Rush at 11 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, it's Rowan Roper for your ride home right here on 89 WLS, back in 22.